everyone. Appreciate everybody taking the time today. I put together a couple slides here to review the MLTI and Dell partnership. I apologize. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
It's not in the presenter mode. Oh, there we go. Sorry, wasn't in presenter mode. So again, my name is Jason Shepard. I'm the regional sales director for Dell in New England. My team consists of 9 folks throughout New England who support our tier 1 account set. State of Maine and executive branch agencies fall under that. That is managed locally in Maine by Stuart Wright. Stuart's been a part of my team for a couple of years now. Locally based in Maine, heavily engaged with the state as well as state universities and a number of other accounts in Maine. Right. Adam Vineyard is one of my peers on the inside. He supports a lot of the K-12 districts throughout the state of Maine. And Paul Arcidi is Stuart's inside rep based in Nashville, also supporting the state of Maine. And in order to maintain a level of consistency, I'm going to request that all inquiries be sent to myself. I'll work with Adam and other team members if there's any issue around quoting, pricing, invoices, things along those lines, right? My contact information is on this slide. Jordan and I speak frequently. So if there's anybody that has any questions, feel free to reach out. That's my personal cell. You can call or text with any issues, and I'll get back to you as soon as we can. And how we're based, like I said, that my team has tier 1. Adam's team has multiple or large majority of the K-12 districts throughout the state. And that's important as we look at our Premier page, and we'll dive into that in a few minutes as well. In terms of which Premier page to leverage, right? Excuse me, I had that as well. But I wanted to take a quick minute to review the devices, right? So when this contract was signed, initially, the Chromebook that was available was the Chromebook 3100. Obviously, over the last 2 years, we've offered a refresh device, right? Obviously, because it's a contract, the pricing is remained the same. So as you can see, we've migrated from the Chromebook 11 3100 to the Chromebook 11 3110, and essentially what that means is the differences are highlighted in blue here on the next 2 pages. Really is obviously the nomenclature of the device itself. Obviously, a change in the Intel proc, right, moving to the N4500, and a slight difference in weight, right? I've come down 0.4 of a pound in terms of portability from 2.87 to 2.83 pounds. The Chromebook student device is a complete bundle, so it not only includes the Chromebook itself, it also comes with the Google management license, as well as a carrying case, which is a 13-inch sleeve for students to try to protect their devices as best as possible as they're banging around in their backpacks, lockers, and transporting to and from school. That also comes with a 3-year warranty, which does include accidental damage. So should a student have an incident with a device, screen is cracked, device needs to be replaced, type of incident, that's what open up an accidental case with our support team and work to get the device repaired or replaced. Next slide here. Sorry. Okay, similar with the Latitude. So there's also a Latitude option on the contract, specifically for teachers, right? So again, when this contract was signed, Latitude 5320 was what was available. We've since migrated to the 5330. OS has changed from Windows 10 to now Windows 11 being available with a Windows 10 downgrade available for those teacher systems. Obviously, you can see the proc has changed as well to still maintain i5, but it's changed to the 1235U. The portability has increased as well as the weight has gone from 2.9 pounds to 2.65 pounds. Warranty, similar to the Chromebook, is a three-year warranty with accidental damage protection. And the thing that I think users should be really excited about with this version of the device is the Dell Optimizer. The Dell Optimizer is an AI learning tool that's included at no additional price in the system. So it learns and functions as the user type uses the device on a daily basis, right? It detects if you're in a public space, it'll darken the screen. It can detect if you've moved away from your screen to provide additional security and darken it and close out the screen. It understands if you're using certain applications at certain times during the day. It'll provide additional processing power to those applications and really accelerate usage of those apps, things like that. So I will have some additional information on not just the optimizer, but aside from this slide deck, I will also send spec sheets on each system to Jordan to include to the MLTI page. Should anybody have any additional questions, feel free to reach out on that as well. Okay, just a couple different reminders. The ordering opens for the systems very shortly, about 10 days on April 3rd. Ordering closes on June 23rd. And as I mentioned earlier around, how Adam's team and my team work. So there's those pages, there's 3 separate links there to Premiere, right? Corey Stroker is part of our Premiere Dell Premiere team. He's going to run through a demo in a minute to show you guys how to log into Dell Premiere, go in and simply place an order or build a cart, what have you. But in order for customers to be invoiced accordingly, right, we've got multiple different teams at Dell, right? We have a tier 1 team, which is my team. We have a medium business team, and we have an acquisition team. So not trying to cause any confusion by any means. There are 3 separate Premiere pages that customers will log into, right? We built that list out last year, and I'll resend it again to Jordan. So we have a refresh list available on the site. But each district will align to a certain page. So if you log into a page and do not see a district there, don't worry. It's most likely going to be on one of these other pages. If for some reason you do not see your district listed, feel free to reach out to me, and we'll work to we'll get that district added to the respective page and provide you with the proper link and availability there. Most importantly, around what can be procured on the Premiere page for the MLTI contract. Many customers are probably familiar with Dell Premiere if they have their own account currently with Dell and have used Dell Premiere in the past, where you can log on to the respective page, build a cart with really any product in Dell's portfolio, aside from storage, which needs to be customized. But the ability to build out, alternate laptops, desktops, peripherals, those all need to be done on the district's respective Premiere page or by contacting their respective Dell account team. The Dell Premiere page for the MLTI contract is locked down. So when you go into the MLTI page, the only things you're going to be able to secure are either the laptop for teachers or the Chromebook bundle for students, right? That is the only thing that's going to be available. Obviously with the contract coming up next year, if there's additional peripherals or things that DOE may want to see included or feedback from districts, that'll be something that'll be included in the contract. We can alter it then, but at this point, it is really limited to those 2 options. Invoicing is always a big concern and question mark. So Dell invoices once orders ship, right? And in order to help streamline reimbursement, Dell will provide a pro forma invoice to DOE to help with that process once the order ship. So or ahead of time, excuse me, should there be a lead time. But obviously the goal is to provide pro formas once these orders as quickly as we can after they're placed, so that way we can get back to reimbursing respective districts. The DOE can be, excuse me. Outside of that, thank you for the continued partnership. I know Dell's been very excited to be part of this program the last couple of years. right? We're available to help any way we can, whether it's from questions around the devices, questions around education in the classroom by leveraging technology. I have a PhD on staff who's a former educator, who that's what he does, is he works with respective districts to help develop curriculum within respective classrooms, whether it's across the district or, math with across district, whether it's in an individual classroom, whatever it may be. Those are the types of resources and services that we can provide at no additional cost. Just feel free to reach out to me, and I can help facilitate a meeting. And I know we're holding Q&A until the end. So Corey, I'm going to turn it over to you to stop sharing and allow you to share your screen and run through a quick demo of Premiere, please.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. Give me just a second while I pull this up. First and foremost, it's nice to meet everybody. My name is Corey Stoker, as he said. I am a part of our Premiere team here at Dell, and essentially what we do is anytime an update needs to be made to the page, or there's issues with the page or something and we need to get that resolved, it would come to my team and we're the ones to step in to assist. So where I want to start today is, first, can you guys see my screen? Perfect. Okay, thank you. So where I want to start today is the email that you're going to receive once you have an account created. It's pretty straightforward. It's going to have you a create password button, and it'll show you what page number you're actually assigned to. You may receive a few of these, but this is going to be the main one that you're going to want to focus on. So let me get logged in here really quickly. And one thing I want to touch over really quickly, so you're going to see a different store in here. If you do have access to the different portals that Jason was talking about, you very well, or more than likely, are just going to be on the one. But if you do have access to multiple, maybe there's a site admin or someone who's filling in that spot, you'll come to this page selector, and essentially you're just going to make sure you choose the right page from this drop down, and then access Premiere, and it'll take you in. Alrighty, so now we're in the Premiere page. Before I kind of get into the standard configs and whatnot, I want to talk about the layout. So we have our top bar up here, which is going to allow you to navigate the site. Jason kind of talked about how we only have our standard configurations. So of course, that's only what's available for us under shop. We do have some support options. These are going to be external links. We do have a deals section, but I don't actually think there's anything turned on. I think that just stays there by default. And then there's an account page that I'll kind of show you later. It has reporting, how you can find your support for the account that you're in, things like that. But I also do want to show you, if you're ever confused, if you're in the Dell Premiere page, because we do have a Dell.com site that is separate from Premiere. Or rather an external Dell.com, I guess I should say is a better way to say it. If you're ever in there, it's not going to show you your name right here, and it also isn't going to mention that you're in Premiere. One other thing you might notice is in our bar up here, Premiere is, if you're in the Premiere page, it's going to show at some point in the URL. So that's a good way to verify that. But this is our homepage, just some general information kind of about the new products and stuff that we have offered. Where we're really going to want to focus, though, is the standard configurations. And again, you can find that through here. So these are the machines actually that Jason was showing you guys earlier, and you can see the prices are the same that he showed you. When you're on this page, you have a few options. Really, right now, we only have the 2 configs, so there's not going to be too much you need to select over here. But if you ever do have additionals here, you can swap through those categories. Of course, this isn't going to filter for us because they're both in the same, but that is just something to kind of keep in mind. And if there's ever anything new added, you're going to see this new configurations category that you can select, and it'll show you what's new. It'll kind of filter all the other stuff out that's been on the page for a little while. So what we can do from here, we do have the option to customize and buy, but for these configs, there's actually no options open. So we will focus on add to cart. It's pretty straightforward, truthfully. It's just going to add the item to the cart and anything else that might be bundled with it. So you'll see here, I think there's a backpack and yep. So a license also that's bundled to it, and those just kind of get added in automatically. You'll see right here. Before I do checkout, I do want to show you guys about quoting in case you kind of need to step away, talk to anybody about verifying if you're able to purchase this, or also there's one other important thing. We have authorized buyers that I want to show you. If you guys ever need to send a quote off to somebody, actually, looks like there's not authorized buyers on this page, so we're not going to have that available, unfortunately. But what I was trying to say is if you're ever quoting something and you need to send it off to somebody else for approval to make the purchase or whatever, this may be set up down the line, I'm not sure. It would appear right under this name section. It would be a drop down. You would open it up and you would select the name, just be somebody at your company, and it would email them once you create this quote. So we do have some descriptions and notes. These are optional. It's usually just for tracking information for the customer, or any kind of personal detail, or not personal details, but company information that might be relevant that you guys use to keep track of things. So order contact information is going to be your general information, just to make sure we have all the right details on you to process this order. I think I have everything entered. When we're at the quote section, this billing information, shopping information, or shipping information, and delivery, it's all going to be optional because we're not actually making the purchase. You can come in here and select these if you know where it needs to go, but you don't need to. So I'll leave that blank for now and show you at the checkout when we do that later. So once we've got all the information in here, we know we're ready to save this quote. We can save as eQuote right here. And I should receive an email. It'll be just a moment. I'm going to try and get that pulled up. But it'll email you, and as well, if you have an authorized buyer, like I mentioned earlier, it'll also email them. All right, it's finally showed up. So this is just going to be a general quote view. Give us a breakdown of everything that we have in our quote. It'll give us pricing and everything. If there's any shipping cost or anything like that, which doesn't look like it's going to be relevant here. And it'll just give you your page information. So yeah, it's not too much that's going to be necessary to utilize, except for that quote. If you ever need, actually, one second. There is a button in here if you need to access Premiere. Just kind of takes you quickly in there. I'm already obviously in here, so I'm not going to do that. But what we would do is if we need to find this quote page, once you've logged into Premiere, most of these pages are going to be on there. Maybe a few random ones that don't show this, but at the very top, we're going to have this big quotes button. And then I will say, just like, let me go to accounts real quick. It may change the layout of quotes. So we see up here in the top left now, it's not the same exact button. It does take you to the same place, so don't get confused by that. This will be the same page regardless. And we do see right now the only test quote available, or rather the only quote available is the test quote I created. If you have the permissions to, or if this is your quote, you can delete this if you want to. And also clicking this or view details, both of these are going to take us to the same spot. So I'm going to click on that and actually load the quote. This is essentially loading my cart for me, or rather that quote into my cart. If I do need to adjust anything here, I have the ability to. I'm not going to right now because I like what we got. But you have the ability to customize this quote. And if you want to, of course, you can always just go right back out and work on a completely different system, not even relevant to this quote. So maybe you didn't get the right stuff added in. So are there any questions so far on kind of the quoting process and creating that quote and getting it pulled up? Perfect. There aren't any at the end. Of course, we can go over those. So now that we've got this ready to purchase, what I'll do is check out. Now this is where we're going to actually need to select all that information I talked about that was optional earlier. These details are already filled in because we had them in the quote creation. Our billing information. If you need to search, I didn't show it there, I apologize, but if you need to search, you can. So I see Derek right there. I can type his name in and I see that Derek is pulled up. If we need to do same as billing, you do have that option. And then for our delivery method, we have a few options. It's going to default to the standard delivery just because that's typically what you guys will use, but you do have other options available if needed. And we have our purchasing methods, our payment methods. You can select from here, and I will show you later you can save credit card information under that account page. But yeah, these are going to be your standard purchasing options. If you have any purchase order or anything like that, you can enter that here. And if you have any files that you might need to attach to this, you can do that here. I'll show you as well where you can find those later. It's also going to be under the accounts page. But if you have anything you need to upload, that's where you would do it. I've got everything entered here. Shipping and payment is good. We're going to go to the next page, review. And this is just going to allow us to make sure we got all the right information entered before we complete the purchase. So really quickly, I want to point this out. If you find yourself in here often, this is going to be useful for you. It's an express checkout profile. This is essentially just going to save your order information and anything that you've entered so that whenever you come in next time, it's kind of already defaulted and you don't need to go through and retype that out each time. So we're confirming our information. It all looks right. I am tax exempt. We've got our payment method showing our PO number, and then we have our items down here showing price and everything. I am not going to press this because we'll actually place an order and I don't want to do that. But if you do press that, you will, I believe it's 3 emails that you're going to get throughout the process. So once you actually press that green button, it'll give you an email saying, hey, we've received your order, just acknowledging that. And then once the order number is available, you'll get a second email saying, here's your order number and information that goes along with that. And then there will be one third email that comes once the order is actually shipped. It'll have your details for that. And one thing to point out there is that the invoicing and everything that Jason was talking about earlier, this is actually around the time that it'll show up. I think it's 24 hours after that order is shipped. And I will also show you in Premiere where to find that. So are there any questions over those standard configs before we do move into something different?
I did have a question.
Yeah, we can help you with.
Where do they insert the domain ID information?
Yeah, so if it may already be defaulted on these configurations, I can actually check. Let me pull the config up in my tool. It may already be defaulted. If it's not defaulted, you would come under the customize and buy and add it in, but it is more than likely going to already be there.
Hey, is that for autopilot?
I believe that's what she was asking, yes.
Yeah, we have to add that in the configuration prior to putting it on it, which let's see, I don't know if we have that information.
You're good. Yeah, and I'm pulling it up in the internal tool as well to see if it's actually enabled. Sometimes it's enabled and it doesn't actually show in this view right here just because it's some things just are hidden. So let me see if that's the case here.
Yeah, I don't think it's on that config for the 5330. Not sure if we got that information from Mlti. So that will be a little tricky. I'm thinking each school probably has their own domain ID.
Mm-hmm. But even for
So,
like Google Chrome and the management, where would they insert that information?
no, so the Google Chrome is different. That's already baked into that bundle. That's on there. They don't insert that when they order. Autopilot can only go on the 5330, which I don't think that was part of the contract. Like we've never had that information.
Autopilot was not part of the contract. No.
Yeah.
No.
So.
And if it ever is, just to fully answer your question, Denise, yeah, you would come in here, this page that I'm in right now, this customize and buy, and you would scroll down and it would be one of these options or modules down here. If you can't find it, you can just Control F. It's not going to, okay, actually it will be here. Perfect. So of course, this shows no autopilot. So you would be able to change it there. More than likely, it would already be entered though. If we have that information, then your account team would send it to us to upload. So
yeah, Dennis, we can tie off on that. Questions.
Thank you.
All righty. So yeah, so we won't mess around with standard configs anymore. I kind of briefly went over the support tab. If you need any additional support, like I said, these are going to take you out to, it's going to be external links. So if you need support for your actual computer itself, it'll also take you to the support page and you can enter your service tag. I'm not going to get into all that, but feel free to explore these if you want to. They're just there for you if you need that additional assistance. So with regards to the actual Premier page, so we're going to come to this accounts tab. This is kind of a culmination of everything for the main learning technology initiative, the account itself. It's going to tell me right here what role I am, what access group I'm in. These are just basically for my account itself. You are more than likely going to see something like Premier and eQuote buyer or site buyer or something like that. So this is a general overview of our, we don't really have any activity, so it's not going to show too much, but it's going to have our recent orders. If you have any information in the address book, looks like it's not filled out right now, or rather it's not, there's no default selected. And if there's any quotes or anything that's been uploaded, it'll show you here quickly, but we do have this left bar over here as well. I talked earlier about you can come in here and find your account team. This is where you would come to find that. So under the accounts tab into the Dell support, we got Paul as our inside sales rep. You can find his email right there, phone number if it's available. If you ever need to get in contact with us directly, of course, Jason said just reach out to him. And Jason, we can get you added here as well if it's needed.
Yeah, we should probably get myself added on there.
Yeah, definitely. I can get that done after this call. So yeah, of course, like he said, he would prefer if you email him. If you guys ever need to, though, if there's ever anything one-off or something like that, here is how you get in direct access or contact with us. If there's any support history for the account, more than likely won't use this, but this is where you would come. Maybe you work in IT or something, and you're trying to figure out what's going on with multiple different requests at your company. This is where you would come to find all that information. It has service tag details, severity, so on and so forth. And clicking this will actually take you to the case information as well. So it's very, very useful. Those documents I talked about earlier in the order creation, this is where you would come to find those documents if any are uploaded. If you are a site admin, this is where you would come to manage the users. You can add users by just entering their details. Mine should fill out my name already because I have an account, but then you can, so I talked about the access group. These are going to be the access groups, in Mlti quoting or Premier. And then we'll just choose our role between these. I'll give you, or I'll show you where you can find what each of these roles actually do and what they mean. There's an actual article that's available. It's pretty useful. You can email a notification to the user. And then also if you need to delete anybody, of course, it's this red lettering right here. You can click that. We would save. I don't need to save though, thankfully. If you need to view any recent orders, this is where you would come to find that. Of course, none have been placed, so there's not going to be anything here. And it does say that this is the last 30 days. So it looks like there's only a couple reports that are available. More than likely aren't going to be too relevant for the team, but if there is my apologies, if there is ever anything that's opened up in here, this is where you would come to actually find those reports. And if you need to view any of your devices, devices that are at the, or rather under this account, you can actually come in here and check service tags, check warranty statuses, how much longer they have left. If there's any activity that's going on it, no open service request. So it's pretty useful to just give a big umbrella view of everything that's on this page. You see there's 1,000, so we can drop this down as well to 100 if needed. And then these down here are typically going to be for, well, there's actually a couple things that are for the page itself, but some of them are going to be more for your account. So profile information, if I ever need to edit my password and stuff, or personal details like change my name, this is where I would come to do that. I need to add any addresses. This is where I would come to do that. One thing I would like to point out is that you're not able to add any billing addresses or edit the billing addresses. If you do need to add those, you'll want to get in contact with your account team so they can get in contact with us. These billing addresses are tied to a customer number, so it's not even anything we really edit. It's uploaded in the sales tools and then shared, I guess, with the Premier site. So it's pulled from our internal sales tools and nothing we actually edit ourselves. And that's why you'll see that this is locked. Each of these are locked. Okay. If you want to add any payment methods, earlier I talked about how you could save credit card information. This is where you would do that. You can also default this for yourself. And then if you did create any express checkout settings, this is where you'd come to edit that profile. Sometime, I mean, you may need to have multiple, and this would give you the ability to adjust those and kind of select between which express profile you're or settings you're going with for that order. So maybe you have different locations, so on and so forth. But that is a pretty good overview of the Premier page. There's not really much else to see, especially with the limitation of sticking to those standard configurations. So feel free to ask me any questions about it. Maybe I kind of went past something you didn't get enough information about. Just let me know and I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah, good stuff, Corey. I mean, obviously, tons of information that's accessible through Premier for this program, and then obviously for their own respective district pages. But Premier obviously is more than just an ordering tool. I mean, it's a gateway to support, gateway to looking at history and health of devices as well. So a lot of good information. So thank you. Yes,
absolutely. Hey, and actually really quickly, one thing I do realize that I skipped out on. So those access groups that I talked about, if you ever want to find this is just under this accounts page again and about access roles. Just a little document. This would be more for someone in your site administrator role or someone who's editing users. Just come in here and it'll give you more specific details about the actual access groups themselves. But yep, that is it for me. Are there any questions from the group? All right, well, I'll stop sharing my screen.
Perfect. If no one else has any questions, I think that is it. Thank you for coming today. We really appreciate it. And this video will be posted on the MLTI website if you would like to refer back to it.
Great. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, team.